people are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Do not come. Do not come.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat, our Sunday night shit show. Welcome. How are you,
Hey,
Pat?
there is some shit, it turns out. Who knew?
The shittiest of the shit. It gets shittier.
Entertaining week, nonetheless.
What'd you say?
I said it's been an entertaining week, nonetheless.
I mean, you know, if it weren't for the child rape and the genocide and the
Yeah, that.
I mean, it's like if you can separate out the cartoonishness of these ghouls, because they truly are embarrassing, and to see the, you know, I'm diving right into all this Epstein stuff. Like, to see their unfettered, like not even like unhidden, masked, whatever, trying to be part of some sense of society, the way they talk to each other about children in bikinis and baby pictures and the, like, you know, needing to have some dating advice when you're 66 years old and married. Like, all of it is so crazy, but it's worse because they are truly evil and they're using all that to further their evil actions. I don't know. It's just,
Yes.
And it's hard to wrap my head around on some level when I get in. Like, I've got, as always, we have so many graphics, but because everybody's working for everybody, so there's so much overlap and interconnectedness. It's disgusting.
Yeah, our whole system is run by a bunch of rich donors that just keep making each other rich. They invest in their own companies. They pass money from Intel to the chips to the blah, blah, blah. It's all propped up on just, hey, they run the country. They do what they want. And I love every time we get leaks because it really does show their asses like nothing else. Like, really? You put that in writing in an email?
In writing. Oh, my God. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into
week.
all of, go ahead.
I do want to shout out to my Candy Freak beer today.
Ooh.
Chili mango sour, imperial sour. It's very
I like
it's like
that.
a cocktail almost.
Yeah. What's the alcohol content?
I knew you'd ask. 8.5.
All right, I think you should add a shot of vodka. Before we get into our show, we wanted to just give a huge extension of our grief and sadness on the passing of friend of show and many of ours, Leslie Lee. He was actually on our show almost exactly a year ago, November 17th of last year. And I went back and I was watching the interview that we had with him, and he was just so kind and gentle and thoughtful, but also so incisive in his criticism of the leaders of both parties, of capitalism, and of the devastation we're forcing our kids to live through and what that's going to mean to their future.
Absolutely. And it's a real loss because he was such a kind guy who had the patience to explain things to people in a way. You know, he came on and spoke to our audience, you know, thinking, oh, here's an audience you need to convert. But everybody here is already, I mean, most people watching are on the same side with him. And I think he was kind of refreshed by that. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. But losing him, like, he was such a one of the rare larger vocal leftists on the issue. So it's a big loss.
Absolutely. Big loss. And also Alice Wong, who was, as she called herself, a disability oracle. It was a hard week for some of our heroes. So, you know, rest in power and thank you for your advocacy. They meant so much to so many of us. So we just wanted to make sure, you know, that we mentioned that sad moment, sad times. I don't know. It just feels overwhelming some days. And then also I will say, and, you know, sorry, because this is how we always start, which is why we have to bring in our lefty LOLs and our puppets and all of that kind of stuff, is that each person is a universe. And we all, like, I'm sure anytime somebody who's dear to us passes and you sort of like reflect on their whole life and your times with that person, and you want to give weight to it and thought and mourning. And that's so important. And then when I look at what we are doing to Palestinians and how we can just sort of blithely say, Israel in the midst of a ceasefire killed another, 70 people today, or returned bodies that were so deteriorated and with no identification, and what is being denied to people who are going through this is just unfathomable, actually. So, yes,
Absolutely.
my happy talk. I'm sure it's going to get even happier as we get in. All right, let's get to the brass tacks here. Please do make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. We now have 3 shows a week, which is pretty exciting. I like it. I barely have time to miss anybody.
Hey, I got nothing. Cheers.
Okay.
I'm trying to, like you said, I'm good at compartmentalizing, sadness, joy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's tough sometimes. Like sometimes I get up and I'm on my way to work and I just put on the radio because I'm constantly listening to NPR and right-wing radio just to see what they're saying.
Yep.
And it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, why do I start my day like this? It's just really a lot. But you can't ignore what's going on. We need everybody more involved. So it's, take your mental health days when you need them, but we can't tune this shit out.
I agree. I really agree. And but both parts are important, because otherwise I think, I keep thinking of myself and my children and my husband, and I'm so sad so much of the time about everything that's going on. And then I think like, well, I can't just if I only live in that, then like I'm not also sort of taking care of my own world and making sure that we have some joy here, but then I feel guilty. It's all, I think we're all sort of going through a lot of that.
Yeah. You have to balance it.
Yeah. You have to balance. Macarius, thank you. Another snuff film. They put out another snuff film in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And the whole thing it's obviously about 2 things, in my opinion. It's distractions, it's escalating, finding another war, and it's oil. I mean, oil is the end game with Venezuela.
Yeah. Oil. And I mean, I guess, we've built up a Department of War, and that is a whole industry that needs to keep finding war to justify all of the money that they are stealing from all of us. So as one war winds down, they're going to find another one and escalate, and which ships are going where. And yes, of course, absolutely, oil and resources, but it's just like a machine that has to keep being fed. So they're going to find a target for the war and aggressors.
And again, it all intersects because it allows him to blame brown people. Like, here's some bad brown people overseas. The drug problems, you can blame them, even though they have nothing to do with fentanyl getting over here, or most of the drugs that they export are not coming to the U.S. But yeah, it's a distraction from the economic suffering the country's going through as well, and the Epstein's shit.
I mean, that's the other thing. Apparently, for the first time in I don't know how many years, Trump didn't go to the whatever fight, the UFC or whatever, the MMA, I don't know, whatever fight it was. Like, amazing to think that something finally made him feel like a slight bit of shame, embarrassment, I don't know what. And who knows, maybe it is that allusion to dalliances with Bubba, even if it was just in jest. Okay.
I heard from one of the Epsteins, I don't know, a brother. Did you hear that he said that the Bubba was not Bill Clinton?
He did. He wrote something today or yesterday saying that it absolutely wasn't. And then people are saying, did you know that Ghislaine's horse was named Bubba?
Well, I think the interesting part is that he didn't say nothing that Trump didn't give a blowjob to somebody. He just said
That is interesting.
it's not Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to clarify, you clarify, but he didn't clarify that part.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Just putting
That
it
is
out there.
interesting, and also the the dog that didn't bark is also interesting. We'll get into all of it. We have lots of
Cheers,
lots of
some
text to go through.
joy, and then the sadness and mockery and all that.
Yeah. All right. So here we have got and I slightly hesitate to do this because the last time we showed an MMA fighter or UFC fighter, it turned out like he was saying something crappy about Elon Musk. This was like a year ago almost, and then a couple months later, it turned out he's like a white supremacist, awful person. So I'm hoping that this is not how this one turns out, but just kind of loved the overall sentiment from Brandon Royval.
Do you want to fight at the White House? I'm sure every fighter wants that, or maybe not. Maybe there's some.
No, I don't give a shit about fighting at the White House. I want to fight in front of big crowds, bro. It's like, how big can the White House even like have of a stadium? That's like, is that shit outside too? It's like.
I'm pretty sure it's only going to be like invited people, so it's not going to be like true MMA fans.
Yeah, bro. I don't give a fuck about any of our political figures right now, and it's like to fight in front of them just seems like some Hunger Games type of of like I don't give a fuck to fight in front of a bunch of billionaires and rich people that can give a shit less about me and probably throwing parlays. It's like fuck you guys. I want to fight in front of people that are Raw Dog fans, are fans of MMA, and like that are like that can relate to me. It's like I'm not trying to fight these like all these politicians. So in my opinion, like I don't give a fuck about impressing any politicians. I don't care about the presidents. None of them. I really don't want to go fight in the White House, if I'm being honest. And honestly, I'm too Mexican looking. The ICE is suspiciously arresting. And like I don't know, who knows, bro? Next thing you know, I'm in Mexico. I don't even speak Spanish and shit,
You don't? I'm from Spain.
Yeah. No, I don't speak Spanish or anything. So it's like I'm straight Chicano. So I don't fit in anywhere.
Just love that sentiment of fuck the billionaires, anybody in power. I don't care about any of these people. I just want to be with my fans,
Amen. And I like that he said fuck about 30, 40 times.
I know, me too. It's a good tirade if it's all bleeped out, right?
Yep.
All right. Are we spinning?
Little joy, and then we'll get to the good stuff.
All right, here we go. 1 second. Sorry, there we go. Okay, we have a lot, but we only have 2 categories.
Yeah, baby.
I probably should have redesigned the wheel, huh? Oh, although that worked out well.
Well, I think we didn't get to a lot of puppets last time, and people were asking for them. So
yeah, I probably could have just had a few more slots of each.
Yeah, baby.
All right, I'm still in it. I'm
You're
heavy.
good. You are good.
It's a good way to start the show. Good way. Okay, 1 second. Here we go. One more.
Yeah, baby.
There we go. That's what we need. And I've got a nice full glass to enjoy a little bit of it.
All right, let's go with some cats and bags.
I got you a toy. Look. No, that's not the toy.
What did you do to yourself? Yeah.
That's very cute. I love it. Look at that. My heart's growing a little bit.
Let's take it back. Let's get into the news.
All right. I mean, let's just get into it. Mostly again because this Epstein stuff is so instructive and illustrative of the depravity of the ruling elite and how they all work together on everything. Jeffrey Epstein was partying with Democrats, with Republicans, with scientists, with heads of industry, with the president of Harvard and MIT scientists and the leaders of other nations, and helping grow the MAGA movement and helping grow surveillance tech. And I mean, it's like everything went through him and whoever he's was working with.
Exactly. And even the people not involved knew about this stuff. So
Right.
There's no one innocent in the ruling class here.
Not a single one.
If you weren't involved and you still could like go do a deal with him for some money, or he could put you together with someone else for money. I'm not going to a pedo guy who has an island with kids that people fly off to rape for a business deal. But for money, with this kind of money involved, these people did.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the Noam Chomsky thing was actually really I knew that he had dinners with him before and things like that. There was a very detailed, it looked like a letter of recommendation written in 2017. So the year before his second conviction. And the defense was, he was a brilliant conversationalist, and we talked about science and money, and he put me in touch with I think it was Ehud Barak, and we had conversations. And what you realize is, well, the money, definitely, like they're all just offshore accounts. He wasn't advising them on money. He was taking their money and putting it in offshore accounts and making them billions. But then also there's just this, like, the glitterati, like he was where everybody wanted to be. It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly, which makes revelations like this. And I know we've all seen it. We showed it, a couple of years ago, but I feel like it's important to show again that, what day are we on? Sundays. Thursday, we showed that in 2013, there was an investigation into Hillary Clinton's State Department for shutting down the Epstein investigation. This was in 2019. This is Amy Robach from NBC talking about her big story that they got scooped because she wasn't allowed to release it because the higher ups wouldn't let her.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
So that was 2019. She said she had it all in 2016, which we know those stories that were getting killed. That's the other thing. Like, in
9
addition
years
to
ago.
all the other stuff, it's the complicity of the media. Um,
And just to remind people, I mean, if you haven't seen that clip, that was off air, and that was from Project Veritas, which is sus, but this has
Right.
been verified, and it's actual, it's
Right.
legit.
Yes, it is. It is legit. Sorry, I've got a stray hair somewhere. So just I guess let's go into the media aspect of it first. From that birthday book a few months ago, Epstein's 50th birthday book, which again, it's like, how many times does everybody have to be implicated in a pedophile rape ring? It's amazing. So, some people knew about it in 2013, right before the primaries, at the beginning of the primaries, 2015. It came out again, and then it was squashed. This is Alan Dershowitz in 2002 saying, Dear Jeffrey, as a birthday gift to you, I managed to obtain an early version of the Vanity Unfair article. I talked them into changing the focus from you to Bill Clinton, as you will see from the enclosed excerpt. Happy birthday and best regards. So that's, Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair is deciding like who is more important right now. Bill Clinton was out of power and Donald Trump was about to have a huge show on NBC.
Yeah, and that's the bigger point in all this is that yes, a lot of Republicans are implicated here, but if we had not protected our own Democrat, Bill Clinton, how many other people would have been spared the rape and abuse that continued for years and years?
I mean, that's the thing is, even after that first conviction in 2008, he was allowed to leave every day and go back to his place. He was still having sex with whoever he wanted to have sex with. Like, it was such a disgusting sweetheart deal. This is sorry, I just want to make sure I get this. Okay, so this was a really interesting thing. I did not know about this guy, Al Seckel. A lot of internet sleuths are out there right now, right? So one person who's doing a lot of good work culling through all of this is Thomas Volshow. And he's saying the Jeffrey Epstein reputational cyber war of 2020, Conchita Sarnoff was the Daily Beast writer exposing Epstein at this time. Seckel was a spouse of one of Ghislaine's sisters. Good find. Okay, so here is the email from Seckel to Jeffrey Epstein. It's very small, but I will just kind of try to dilute it here, where he's basically saying, I spent literally 4 months of nonstop work, creativity, and my own political capital to get you this far of cleaning up your reputation, basically. He then goes into a very, okay, yeah, thank you. I can see it. In addition, I wasted a lot of time talking to people who promise to help, but end up providing nothing. And I end up having to do it myself. We were trying to fix up your mess. I didn't create it. Just thought it would be something to help. This was never about trying to pull money out of you. In fact, we've done everything possible to keep the cost down. I must talk to you about the island thing ASAP. Okay, gross, right? But then we go to the next bit where he details what he actually did. And again, this is in 2010, before a lot of us, I think, were aware of algorithms on the internet and why certain search results, like I thought we had a pure search engine, foolish me, where you put something in and the top hits were because they were, most important to, or, crucial to what you were searching for, not because somebody went in and manipulated the engine results, right? So 2010. The HOTS did the sweep. Here are the new results taken as of a minute ago. You have only one negative article left on the front page of Google, which is the Huffington Post article. Huffington Post is extremely hard to move because it's so powerful, has millions of links to it, and uploads massive new and original content on it. A daily basis with posting from outside readers. We managed to push it down the page as it used to be at the top. If we were able to post original content to both the science and the org site, absolutely not a single word to this day by Jessica Just Talk. Don't know who that is or what that's referring to. We would have been able to push it down even further and off the page. We did manage to get rid of the Daily Beast article, which is now far removed in spite of their own efforts to keep it prominent. He then goes on to talk about toxic suggested search engine terms that popped up automatically when you type in your name are also now removed. Wikipedia was an important victory, as it will always be at the top of the search engine results. Now the headlines do not mention convicted sex offender or pedophile. Instead, philanthropic work, Epstein Foundation, promotion of scientists. We have stopped the hacking on your wiki site, and that was a major effort. Your wiki entry now is pretty tame, and bad stuff has been muted, bowlerized, and pushed to the bottom. Careful editing and wording has muted the effect immensely. We hacked the site to replace the mugshot and caption, and now has an entirely different photo and caption. This was a big success. We pushed the edge all the way up to the front page where it was previously buried on page 5 of the Google search. And last, we have promoted the other Jeffrey Epsteins, and other pages are also filled with your material. And while the sites are up and in the direction we hoped, they are still new and subject to volatility, especially if new original content is not added on the minimum of a weekly basis. I have been forbidden to add new content to the philanthropic site as well as the science site, and therefore, as a result, our ratings slipped down. We also helped you with images, and the first image that comes of you on a Google search are not your mugshot, etc. Your Daily Beast foe is still at it and trying to promote her sites against you in the same way that we try to depromote you. That was 15 years. I had no idea that they could do that 15 years ago.
Oh, did I know 15 years ago? I don't know. But yeah, they're clearly manipulating the hell out of it now. I mean, we know this.
100%.
I mean, you Google something on Palestine, what do you get? You know, pro-Israel stuff forever.
But the difference is now we've all been made so aware of that, I think, over the last several years. I had no idea in 2010 that people were doing that type of work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I did either, but I've known for a while on this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, but I didn't know that. But so this is from an article in the Telegraph talking about Robert Maxwell, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, and his, whatever they are, 7 children, 9 children. Jesus, I don't even know how many. That's a lot. It turns out that Al Seckel was married to Ghislaine's sister, Isabel. They were sort of married. It turned out he had forgotten to divorce his former wife. Oh, and also in July 2015, his body was apparently found at the bottom of a cliff in a spooky echo of Maxwell Sr.'s fate, but doubts about his death persist. I think that was in France. But here is the crazy thing about that lady who now I am not finding anywhere. Where is she? Is she here? Isabel ended up president of ComTouch Software, an online security company founded by former Israeli soldiers. She claimed to have secured investment from Bill Gates, moved comfortably within Israel's burgeoning tech scene, and was connected with Epstein's Mindshift conference, a TED Talk rival, co-founded with her sort of husband, Al Seckel. And so once again, all of the evil converges.
It really does. All these emails are so telling. It's amazing. And we only have a little sliver of it right now.
Yeah. I mean, Kimiko, that's so nice. Thank you. That's how we make excuses for ourselves right now. Yes, that is the problem right now. Thank you. But I had no idea way back then that WikiLeaks, that even like Google, I mean, obviously I started, knowing, I mean, I do think that's happening, especially because we do talk about genocide and rape and stuff like that a lot. And, what are we going to do? But there are things where you can pay and it says like sponsored or ad, but like nobody would know this. I didn't realize it until 2015 because I had seen that article from the Daily Beast, which I'm sure is what he's not even referring to that because that was in 2010. So in 2015, there was that article from the Daily Beast, the billionaire who could take down both presidential candidates, Hillary because of Bill and Trump. And then like a month in, when the WikiLeaks Dem leaks started happening, DNC leaks, that disappeared. And that's when I sort of started putting it all like, then I realized like, oh, they're suppressing, we found out on Twitter that they reduced the ability of visibility of the DNC WikiLeaks leaks by like 30%.
Yeah, I think it was even higher than that. But yeah, it was.
Yeah,
they really did manipulate that in direct correlation to the election. Like they did it because of the election.
Yeah,
and that's, even if it's your side, you don't want that system to exist. I mean, we need the fourth estate needs to remain neutral and go after both these parties. And what all those leaks showed is that no, they've been running the media.
It really is just so repellent. Yeah, and there was a lot of talk definitely about search engine optimization. But the fact that they're all in tech, they're all, getting
all in tech, all connected to Israel,
all connected to Mossad and Epstein and Maxwell. Yeah, it's just an enormous shit show. And
anyone who's tied up in these emails, they all ended up the winners somehow magically in our economy, right? That's the whole point, is that just by association with him, you were going to end up rich because all the good old boy network.
Yep.
And at the core of the good old boy network was the sex and rape and pedophilia.
And we all have dirt on each other, right? So we're all making crazy amounts of money and we all have dirt on each other. And so now
we all
have
like dirt and
anyone
and look at all the stories we've managed to kill, and look at the people that just mysteriously all died related to this. So I don't think you want to say anything, just get rich.
Yeah. Yeah. So this makes somebody like Ezra Klein, who is supposed to be a journalist. I mean, I don't think anybody here considers him that, but like we have all known now for years. Like we showed that Amy Robach clip from 2019 3 or 4 years ago. That has been around. We knew that Bill Clinton and Trump and Dershowitz and Woody Allen, we saw the flight logs in 2015, 2016. That's when those flight logs first made an appearance in my world, right? So if I were a journalist making millions of dollars from the New York Times, I probably wouldn't say something this embarrassingly obvious that I'm just trying to cover for the people in power.
I think I should say, before I start this episode, where I am on the Epstein story. If you force me to give you my best guess, given what we know, I think this guy had a lot of very powerful friends. I think this guy was a predator and a pedophile on an extraordinary scale. And I think those sides of his life were mostly separate. I don't think there is a list of bold-faced names somewhere.
Come on.
What are you doing?
I was telling you before the show, I was listening to NPR, and they had on a woman, Democratic consultant, saying, I don't think voters care about this. Like, no, there's blood in the water. I mean, if you want to go after the Republican Party, yes, it's both parties, but voters absolutely care, and stop providing cover with this narrative that voters don't care.
Why?
The connection there, is that the Republicans pushed that issue so hard. So if you're going to drop the issue that they trained their own voters to demand an answer to, you are a terrible strategist just on that side of it. So it's nonsense when they say people don't care about this. You're lying. That consultant was lying.
They are 100% lying, just the way they always leave Gaza and genocide out of the autopsy report of Kamala's loss, right? They never talk about that. Voters, that's not their first issue. Voters don't care about foreign policy. First of all, I don't think that's true. But second, it is a barometer of who you are as a person and who owns you. And also, if you can excuse a genocide or fund and arm a genocide, you're certainly not fighting for health insurance or fair wages. Like, you've already decided that whole swaths of populations can be annihilated. So that's not somebody who centers humanity, right? And I think this is a similar thing. Like, if you are, not only are you beholden to whoever has this compromise over you, and first, you've done these depraved, evil things of raping children, but also you are now owned by the people who have this information on you. We saw, we showed a couple days ago that in the Times of Israel, just last month or in August, they wrote, like, Trump only did 1 week of bombing of Iran. Doesn't he remember that we have some videos he might not want to surface?
We're seeing all this play out with our current politics, which is really why this stuff is important, because you have to look at everything we're doing in the context of who wants all these things to happen. And none of this is in our international interest. It's in the donors, the people that are tied up in all this Epstein crap. They're all getting rich off all this crap that's happening, or they're doing it because other countries are forcing them to do it. You're never going to get a direct, they're in the email, here's the action. You have to just judge their character on all this and say, yeah, these people are compromised.
They are compromised. And when you're a journalist and you don't speak the truth to power, I mean, you're destroying our democracy. Like, you're just not a journalist anymore, right?
No, we don't have journalists. Journalism is not really allowed. When you look at that story, biggest story on earth, that she couldn't get out there.
I mean, okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's an awful person. Like, do you remember her harassing the Parkland teenagers who were survivors of the shooting? I mean, she's just an evil, awful person. The Jewish space lasers, the cartoon that she showed of the Statue of Liberty, like wearing a burqa, like because Mamdani,
she leaned into every MAGA racist thing you could possibly get. Spawn her career.
She is a disgusting person. She happens to be coming out on the right side of Israel right now, which it's hard to know what her motivations are. I don't know what's in her heart. Maybe she really does feel sad watching innocent people be slaughtered, although there's never been an indication that that's why, that's who she is before. I have a feeling it has more to do with keeping American money here and America first and all of her other racist ideals. She certainly is no, champion of civil rights or the rights of the global South. But she is speaking out, very forcefully about this genocide and about the Epstein files and the list and the raping of children. So she and Donald Trump are having, a very public spat, which I don't know if you want to do those tweets right now.
Well, I mean, she also was and she's half apologized for it, but she went down the QAnon pipeline, right? So this is who she is. If you really are that person, you're not going to just drop the Epstein files. I mean, I think there's some sincerity in this beef a little bit with her beliefs, but also, she's trying to survive post-Trump as well. It's boosting her own career.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a balance between boosting and wrecking, because you've got all his supporters, but
but that's waning now, right? Like, his support is waning,
right?
For sure,
right.
Yeah.
And you can't be this alleged independent, grassroots kind of crazy person like she is, and not keep some authenticity, which you would lose entirely if you dropped the Epstein files stuff like everybody else, which forces you into position to go to war with the president, basically. And that's where she's at.
And that is where she's at. Do you want to show that first, or her interview with Donna Bash? Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So, I mean,
Dealer's
she's
choice.
What'd you say?
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. I'm putting my readers back on. Okay, so as we mentioned, Trump was a no-show last night at the UFC fight, whatever, first UFC event he has missed in New York since 2022. And then because of all these revelations, and we will get into some of them, they put out this Trump and Melania kissing on the cheek, which is kind of hilarious. But anyway, I can't help falling in love with you. All is right in their world. So it's not helpful when Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out so forcefully, and he is furious. Lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Brown. Isn't that hilarious? Green grass turns brown when it begins to rot, betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on the pathetic view, and became the rhino that we all know she always was. Just another fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massie, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only. Rhino, make America great again. He also, just as a side note, put out this disgusting post about Thomas Massie, whose wife of 30 years passed away a little over a year ago, and he has just recently remarried. Did Thomas Massie
leading from the right to release the files?
Yes, he and Ro Khanna have come together. It's their motion that they're hoping everybody signs on to release them. So he says, did Thomas Massie, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr., because of the fact that he always votes against the Republican Party, get married already? Boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him at less than an 8% chance of winning the election. Anyway, have a great life, Thomas. And question, his wife will soon find out that she's stuck with a loser. This is a man who was raping children or teenagers or whatever. And I don't know, in such a public way, be so disgusting about somebody else who's lost his wife. I don't know. There's just so many levels to the depravity. Yeah. That's
the way I look at it. Look, even if let's say Trump's innocent in all this, it's just a business association, which is not innocent either. But if what Trump is telling us is true, you don't like the classlessness of that move right there. That should be disqualifying enough that you're going after a guy's dead wife. And all of it is just so repulsive. If this guy had to run again, he would lose by 1 million against even Kamala at this point. I think so too. But we'll get to the Michelle Obama of all of that. But no, I think so too. Okay, so that is all happening. But to bring it back, there were a couple more tweets that we had. The rants. Do you want to go for it? Are we reading all of this? Can we bear it? Do you want to go through all of it? Oh,
withdrawing his support. He's just melting down. He's ranting and raving about this because he thought he had it on lockdown, that he was not part of the Epstein files.
Yeah,
and Bannon was helpful in that endeavor, actually, also. Yeah.
He is losing control over 10 people in this party, right? And that's all you need to lose to possibly get convicted over something. Whatever goes to the House is going to end up having to get the Senate to vote for it, which is a whole nother battle. But still, he's losing control because he used to be able to just tweet his way out of this shit and people would be scared for their lives because the crazy MAGA people are coming after him.
Yeah, he has totally lost it. I think, some of those clips that we showed of him with Laura Ingraham the other day, where he's showing his gold palace and she kind of calls him out on a few things, calls him out on that kind of looks like it's Home Depot, and also the H-1B visas. I think I think this is a fairly safe place for her to be, apart from if Mossad gets her, if they do their magic with her. But so just to bring it back to the complete lack of ethics in our corporate media. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking to Dana Bash. I think this was either yesterday or this morning.
I do want to ask you about something you posted just yesterday on X. You questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden. And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. What are you trying to say there?
Well, I think it's the question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails that the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government, and seems to have led into their intel agencies. And I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey Epstein working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take money from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people. And so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the president of the United States to cover up the Epstein files? And what evidence do you have that that is the case?
I simply just asked out loud, is there a foreign government? It could be any foreign government, but is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against.
Well, you had AIPAC up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning any other foreign government.
Does Dana Bash not read the news? Like, DropSite has been doing fantastic work on Mossad's connections to Jeffrey Epstein. There's a lot of stuff in all of these emails, and she's going to make it. And I mean, yes, I do believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene is anti-Semitic. She's made that clear, but she's also correct. Like, two things can be right.
What are you implying by showing all the money a foreign government gave to somebody?
Yeah.
Are you implying that means something? Yes, I'm implying it. I'm implying all of our politicians are corrupt, and the ones taking a lot of AIPAC money are ignoring genocide. That's what I'm implying.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is Dana Bash, who just like 2-3 weeks ago got an award from Israel for being the most fucking lapdogish person in the entire media, and then had a whole panel on to pat her back for getting the award for being the fakest person on Israel.
Yep. And who, denigrated Rashida Tlaib for being an anti-Semite and for talking about the arrests of protesting students in Michigan, implying that Rashida Tlaib was anti-Semitic because she mentioned that it seemed like those particular protesters were the ones who were being targeted by the assistant attorney general in Michigan, and that made her an anti-Semite. No, she's disgusting. And also her ex-husband, Jeremy Bash, was the former chief of staff of the CIA and the Department of Defense, had dealings with top Israeli spy Yona Koner, who stayed with Epstein. That was in another report from DropSite just last week. So she must, if she doesn't know just from her own personal life about Mossad and Israel's influence with Epstein, she certainly should pick up a newspaper and read the reporting that other journalists are actually doing, instead of just doing this blanket smear that, oh, it's interesting. What other country do you think is putting that pressure on? Do you think it's Canada? Of course it's Israel.
Yeah. Hey, why are you asking questions? That's the job of journalists. Us journalists we're not asking questions. Why would you be asking questions? What proof do you have? Well, I don't know. Maybe cover the fucking Epstein files.
Yeah. Troves of emails were just released. So please, have at it, journalist.
And this reminds me of the DNC leaks, where we all scrubbed through them left and right, leftist media, independent media, the right too. Everybody scrubbed through them, and we're like, look at all the shit that we found. And the media presented it to everybody as like just a few salacious things here and there. Like, oh, look, Obama said something shitty about Kamala, or, like it was just the little salacious parts they focused on. And they ignored the broad story of the media being captured, which
what they
that's why
did was try to tar it with this like ick factor of they were released from WikiLeaks, which is Julian Assange, and we know that he was charged with, so like they try to obfuscate the actual content of the material.
And because our media is so embedded in this as well, they're already doing the same thing. It's the same pattern we saw every time they leak all this stuff. They just pretend it's just these little things that are, they're going to find some scapegoats to blame and say, oh, all the Jeffrey Epstein things say that Bill might have been a little sus, and then because he's out of power, what fucking difference does it make?
It's so gross and so revealing, but I feel like, especially in 2015 with all the WikiLeaks DNC emails leaked, we saw that then. And the fact that only think one person was fired, and that was Debbie Wasserman Schultz, right? They told you it was unlawful to even read the WikiLeaks email. All the libs just ate that BS up. That's right, exactly. Maybe we're terrorists because we're anti-Democratic Party.
Not going to answer that one.
Okay, so another thing that I think is really interesting, and then we can get to you want to talk about the Bubba?
Oh, the Bubba thing? I don't know. I mean, we got the clip of Trump on the airplane. His rant. It kind of fits into all the categories we're covering though. So I don't know. Do you want to show that now or later?
You want to show it, and then we can kind of dig into some of the emails back and forth?
Yeah, and I apologize for the audio here. It was really hard to hear him on the plane because of all the hissing and humming in the audio. So we ran it through some filters. It's going to sound a little echoey, but it's clear. You can hear what he says better this way. So here we go.
If we denuclearize. Mr. President, can you tell us why you needed to get an MRI? I understand that the results were good, but what was it for?
Okay, that's inaudible.
Is the whole thing like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's
go back to your. Well, we got other stuff.
We have other stuff. But basically, he says he had his regular checkup. He had an MRI. Well, why did you have an MRI? I don't know. It's just normal. Well, where were they doing the MRI? I don't know, but it was the best MRI that they've ever seen. They said it was the greatest MRI ever. It's like, I mean, he's just ridiculous. And I think that more of his previous supporters are keying into that. And I think, the genocide, which they thought was going to end, the rounding up of people in their communities, which is not helping the economy, which is in the toilet. And then the fact that he is so prominently featured in the Epstein files and all of these, I think it's,
what it does is it gives Republicans the first off ramp to part with him that is safe. You can safely say, I was with him, but dude, this Epstein shit I was following forever, and what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's reason to talk to your MAGA friend, and your MAGA friend is like, sycophant the whole way, following everything, thinks, it's hilarious. Everything Trump is doing is trolling. It's so funny. But now you can say, no, I'm not on board with that. And that's a real break that I think is allowed in MAGA world now for the first time.
I think so too. I mean, I think, listen, I don't know exactly what happened with Charlie Kirk, but that was a big fissure, right? Like when he started questioning and having to listen to his young followers, because young MAGA, like that's done. They are not pro-genocide. They just aren't. Or most of them aren't. And then there's some who are going to go full on racist. Like before it was like, we're racist except for the Jews of Israel who are Zionists. I mean, we're kind of racist against them, but we'll accept them into the crowd. the genocide seemed to be like a bridge too far. And for the people who are being told, well, you're anti-Semitic if you don't support a genocide. And if they dig,
they're
their
like,
heels
hey, we were
in-
already anti-Semitic. What are you talking? I am so anti-Semitic, but
Yeah, that's
why?
fine.
It's
Fine
not
with
for
me.
that reason. I'm
Yeah.
just a racist.
Yeah, fine
I'm
with
an
me.
America First racist.
But that is where there's the group who are following now the Nick Fuentes, hardcore Groyper racism. And so I do think that MAGA coalition, especially young people, is gone. And I think also his lead with Mexican Americans and Latino populations in our country is gone.
And the fact that the Epstein stuff really connects to Mossad and Israel and the greater picture. Yeah. And if you're sort of inclined to be racist and anti-Semitic to start with, here's proof that Jews don't run the world, you know? I mean, so this story does connect to some of that power that Israel and the Zionists have held forever. So
all the media,
so these people are going to, these people are not going to, they're not going to listen to what CNN says about ignoring it. They're not going to listen to what Trump says about ignoring it. They're going to be curious and keep reading it. And that's going to bring a lot of people over to the MTGs of the world.
Right. And who knows what she's going to do with it, because she still says that she supports all of his policies. I mean, she responded that she's actually slightly in fear for her safety. I'm now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety, as a hotbed of threats against me are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world, the man I supported and helped get elected. But I mean, sorry, but it's a taste of her own medicine, because she was certainly part of that when she was attacking, David Hogg and the Parkland survivors, and really anybody, when she was attacking Ilhan Omar. This is new for her to understand what it's like to be the target of a campaign against you.
She went from the crazy Jewish space lasers lady to I'm all in for Israel to now I get the brunt of this. I'm getting called anti-Semitic now. Me, space laser lady. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. It's getting a dose of her own medicine. Okay, so this is the thing that I think was the final nail in the last morsel of sanity that Trump might have had, because it seemed like this was released, and that's when he's just like, he always loses it. But anyway, so one of the emails that surfaced, this is from 2018. And Jeffrey Epstein says, hey, all good. He's writing back and forth with his brother, Mark. All good. The brother asks him below this, how is everything? All good. Bannon is with me. And we're going to get back to that in a minute. He says, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. And he says, and I thought I had Cyrus. You and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. You mean Donnie T? And then the brother says, I'd rather be in Donnie D's shoes. Not entirely sure what all that means at the end there, but there are many times that Bill Clinton in the Epstein emails is referred to as Bubba. So that is why, and he was even called that, I think, sometimes in mainstream media every once in a while, right?
Bubba is known to be him for sure.
Right? Yeah.
Like it's Bubba. But if he's not Bubba in this case, Mark should have come out and Mark said it's not Bubba. But Mark didn't say, Mark didn't say Trump didn't blow a guy.
Or Ghislaine's horse, who, as we mentioned, is named Bubba.
Blow a horse. I mean, even if all this is just some tongue-in-cheek jokes back and forth that we don't get.
Yeah.
Like, you're joking about a guy that's a convicted pedophile who everybody knows has an island of kids.
Yeah.
So just by being in this email chain, you're a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah. Right? I mean, it's his brother, but yeah, definitely.
Yes.
But just, okay. So in 2014, this is who were really the dirty old men of the party. Bubba Clinton is only the first to be exposed. Then, this is the good thing it was on here for a moment or two, because once the powers that be get their paws on this Bubba the pervert info, they will bend over backwards to make it disappear from view. By the time 2016 rolls around, Hillary and the co-president, Bubba, will be scrubbed squeaky clean, and she'll be so sanitized the Pope will bow to her when she deigns to meet him. And then the best call came from a 9-year-old who said Bill Clinton violated the 11th commandment, thou shalt not put thy rod in thy staff. The worst call came from a man who asked, what did the Titanic and Monica Lewinsky have in common? The answer was they both have dead seamen floating in the hull. And remember that awful piece of gossip, the one Lucianne Goldberg initiated in order to get attention from the press for her, that I kept a blue dress stained with Clinton's dried ejaculation as a souvenir. Well, Jonathan Brandmeier on KLSX invited listeners to call in and suggested euphemisms for presidential semen. My favorite was Bubba Butter. So this is all in, 2014. He's already served time for prostitution and prostitution with a minor, which Alan Dershowitz helped to get down to just one count, even though there were many other people who were part of that indictment. And he's making these jokes. I want to puke.
Yeah, these guys all knew everything, every single one of them. I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, I did pull the clip of Peter Thiel just to show the connection in a broader scope that I'd mentioned last show. He was on Rogan recently talking about why he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Great
So
conversation.
I think this is kind of revealing, and it reveals how stupid this guy is too. And he's not intelligent. It blows my mind that people look up to these billionaires as like some deep fucking thinkers. Like
Every time he talks, it's like this. Every time.
His shit. And this is like you're getting outsmarted by Rogan here, which is not a good look.
Yeah.
I met Epstein a few times as well, and I think.
How'd you get introduced?
It was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us in 2014, but it was basically, and I didn't ask enough questions about it. But I think there were sort of a lot of things where it was fraudulent. I do think Epstein knew a lot about taxes, and there were probably, these complicated ways you could structure a nonprofit organization, especially as a way in a marital context that I think Epstein might have known a decent amount about.
How, when you were introduced to him?
I don't think Epstein would have been able to, comment on superstring theory or something like that. Right. But I think this sort of thing he might have actually been pretty expert on.
When you were introduced to him, how was he described to you?
He was described as one of the smartest tax people in the world.
Interesting.
And I probably was my moral weakness that I.
Well, how could you have known back then? He had never been arrested.
No, this was 2014. It was post arrest.
Oh, so his arrest was the first arrest, right?
Yeah,
which was like
2007, 08.
Okay. And so,
but you assume he didn't go to jail for that long. It was probably not as serious as alleged. There was certainly the illusion that there were all these other people that I trusted. Reid, who introduced us, was. He started LinkedIn. He was, maybe too focused on business networking, but I thought he always had good judgment in people.
When the shit went down and Epstein gets arrested for the second time, were you like, oh, well, there you go?
I've thought about it.
Everybody knew. Liar, liar, liar. And I don't know if you saw at the top, it said, that was fun. See you in 3 weeks. Just as a reminder, it wasn't only little girls who were on that island. There were also little boys who were being raped. Kevin Spacey was
Of
there. There
course.
was just an Abercrombie and Fitch model who was talking about. I mean, everybody knew that is the trafficking, all the different modeling agencies that they all had their hands in. Jean-Luc Brunel, and there's another woman, I can't remember her name, but we have a different text with her, Faith Cates from Next Models. I mean, the modeling was, it's like saying, oh, he was really good at tax advice. That is how you cover, oh no, we're doing offshore accounts so that you don't have to pay taxes. That's the tax advice. The modeling is, oh, we find all these beautiful girls to make them models, but first they have to be sex slaves for all of our famous friends.
Well, but even as Rogan says, well, that you couldn't have known about his criminal record. Well, yeah, I did. But
it was before.
Yeah, but then after the second one, you stopped. Stop doing business with him. Oh, well, I
didn't think it was that serious. It was just one count.
Yeah, it was one count. I thought it wasn't as serious as alleged. He went to jail. What was alleged was much worse than what he went to jail for. It was a plea deal. So, fuck all the way off. Like
prostitution with a minor.
If you can't listen to that interview and think this guy knew he was dealing with a dirtbag at the very least, you're not very intelligent.
Yes, 100%. I do think it's interesting just to like broaden out how everybody was part of this. Peter Thiel has been a Republican, I think, from the beginning, but all the other tech bros, Reid Hoffman, Alex Karp, even like Curtis Yarvin, they were all liberals. They were Obama acolytes, right? Obama funded them, Elon Musk. So I do think that piece of the puzzle is interesting. And I also think that, Obama with his White House counsel having this really cozy relationship with Epstein, where we were talking about all those email exchanges on our last show. But then this popped up every day. There's like a new slew of emails that we're able to go through. I just think this is incredible to me. In 2012, Dershowitz tells me Obama called him to ask him what was going on in Israel. We should discuss. So why is Obama, who also knew exactly what was in those files, because remember, it was 2008 when he was convicted for the first time. All of that, his Justice Department had all of the files. Those files have now been in his hands, in Trump's hands, in Biden's hands, back in Trump's hands. Why are you calling Dershowitz to ask what's going on in Israel? What is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
No, all this feels like Dershowitz was a real middleman to a lot of this stuff. And the fact that Dershowitz, we covered it last show, he had those emails basically threatening some people in power that, hey, don't forget, I have dirt on these people.
That's right.
So somehow, I mean, as a lawyer, you have cover in a way that other people don't to not discuss these things. And that's why somebody like him is probably involved in this. I mean, he's involved for sure. But
Dershowitz or Obama?
Yes. No, Dersh. Well, Obama as well. I mean,
I don't think from what I've heard that Obama was ever in the company of this crowd.
I don't think he was in the island. I don't think he was.
But they're all part of
it. But the people in this crowd were a part of the bigger donor class that still funded both parties. So that's
why are you calling Dershowitz? You have your whole, Secretary of State department and experts on Israel. What are you calling Dershowitz for? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And then this is a total other aside. It's my own sort of schadenfreude that Epstein said something snarky about Obama, but here he is in an email exchange with Larry Summers, who says, they're going back and forth, direct all my scheduling inquiries, whatever. And then Jeffrey Epstein writes to him, oh, here's your man of the people. And it is a link to a USA Today article, President Obama, kiteboards, horses around with Richard Branson. Because once you're in that crowd, you know what it means to be palling around with billionaires. Has there ever been a worse post-presidency than Barack Obama and Trump? But like did nothing. At least George W. like did an AIDS initiative with Clinton, which by the way might have been on Jeffrey Epstein. So maybe like, nobody wants that. But like,
well, they're producing movies, there's that. They're producing movies and putting clips
and releasing their
out.
Spotify lists. They're just like a cool brand.
Great job.
Yeah, so gross.
Okay, I know we need a little break, so
Okay,
I'm gonna executive decision it.
Okay, good.
And play one that matches topic. Here's some of Epstein's depot.
I love watching your TikTok, which is next level. Clearly, that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
No, God, please, no, no.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
Form, vague, indefinite, and I'm going to give you the first warning, Mr. Cuban, that these types of questions are not only argumentative, but directed in a manner to embarrass Mr. Epstein. If you continue with this type of question, I will adjourn the deposition immediately.
Sir, according to the police department's probable cause affidavit, one witness described your penis as oval-shaped and claimed when erect it was thick towards the bottom but was thin and small towards the head portion and called it egg-shaped. Those are not my words, I apologize. But as Mr. Critton has stated, that this is a... I'm willing to continue.
Why does he get to get up and walk away?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
disgusting.
I meant for that to be funny, but it really isn't. I mean, this guy is a fucking dirtbag. But I do respect that they you can ask anything in a deposition. So ending the deposition, that was not justification to end the deposition, especially when it's him repeating a quote from somebody
who's an accuser.
That's the whole point. It's like, I have some information that like, oh, you have a thing on your dick that looks like this. I can prove I had some sex, I could, that kind of thing. So,
like, why are you allowed to get up and walk away? I mean, that's the other thing is that you look at, we're inviting the rebranded president of Syria, who is still like listed as a terrorist, I think, on some State Department website. But, like a truly like Al-Qaeda, ISIS beheading people, terrorist, at the same time that you're calling Mamdani a terrorist, or fishermen in the sea, in the Caribbean, and you're, putting out these snuff films of assassinations of the narco terrorists. We have a real terrorist here. You're arresting people who are working at Home Depot or doing garden work and calling them, criminals. And then these are the people you're cavorting with. You're saying that people protesting a genocide are, Hamas supporters and terrorists, while you know that you rape children and cover for it and take your money to some offshore account so that you don't participate in the community of this country in any meaningful way to give back into everything you've stolen. Like, I know it's not cognitive dissonance, except I really don't think that they think that they're evil. I think that what happens is the working class, the rest of us who are not in this elite area, have just been designated as subhuman. And that's just the price we all have to pay for these people to live the life they want to live.
They're not in a circle. They're not in a circle of anybody who challenges them. It's like nobody ever talks back to these people. Nobody ever says, hey, what about this? No, somebody on the news will once in a while, a protester will or something, but their people aren't sitting around drinking champagne or wine and caring about anything other than, hey, stock tips, offshore money, I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance or what, but it's just when you find reasons to justify things that benefit you.
Yeah.
That's human nature. And they're in such an isolated world and bubble of people all getting rich and all have gotten rich, and they all know a handshake could make them millions of dollars.
Yeah. And I do think it's like what we talked about when we were first starting talking about, tech bros with Zainab, especially with like that God complex. They think that they are there, whether they believe in a higher power or not, but they were put there by some divine power, right? Like they, more than anybody, they earned it. They believe in the meritocracy, right? So like, but just to have so little regard for anybody else, and also to chastise people and castigate them as terrorists when you're palling around with actual terrorists. It's just, they have lost, it's like a chip is missing. They have lost all touch with humanity. They just have lost touch with humanity. So that wasn't, I understand that, but that wasn't probably the respite we thought we were going to get. Should we show something funny or cute? Just make that call and just
Let's
do it.
erase that last one because
right.
We know of Trump's mushroom dick, and now we know of the egg dick, which egg-shaped? What the fuck is egg-shaped, first off? I don't know how that translates to a penis at all. But let's show some cats or something.
Okay.
Fuck it. No, dogs. Let's go to dogs. Dogs.
Hey. Thank you.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Cute.
Okay, that's good.
My parents had a dog that I got them that they live in their backyard opens up to a park. It used to be a golf course. And they converted it to houses. But the sprinklers in the park were like 3 feet from the fence.
Okay.
Rail fence. So their dog used to just stretch every ounce of her body out to get one arm so she could just tap the sprinkler.
That's so
and she would just sit there tapping the sprinkler forever.
I love it. That's so cute. That's very sweet. All right. So let's just dig in quickly because it's just all so gross. But once again, just a reminder that, Epstein was a bipartisan, just evil, disgusting man. We showed the trailer from the movie that Bannon was making about him called Monsters, I think, that never was released. But in it, so we showed it on Thursday. In it, Epstein starts talking about like he believes that women are the way to go and they're, going to inherit the earth and all this time's up is wonderful. And Bannon says something like, are you saying that because of all the depraved stuff that you did? It was really a weird interjection that he says that. And then Epstein just keeps talking about it. It was like Bannon went off track. Like we couldn't figure out I couldn't figure out what the play was there. Like, does he just want to say, I have information on you? But then this article has just come out where this was a project that Bannon and Epstein were in together, where Epstein was going to help finance the rise of MAGA in the US and introduce Bannon to foreign leaders and dignitaries to help grow a MAGA right movement in Europe as well. And Bannon was going to help polish Jeffrey Epstein's career by highlighting how many Democrats were pedophiles, and that this was actually a Democratic takedown of Epstein because they hated Trump. Like, there's some weird logic going on, but they worked together. So newly uncovered emails reveal Steve Bannon wasn't exposing Jeffrey Epstein. He was secretly collaborating with the convicted sex offender. The deal was Epstein helps Bannon build the MAGA movement. Bannon uses MAGA to kill Time's Up. Epstein offered potential financial support to Bannon through opaque cryptocurrency schemes designed to evade regulatory scrutiny, along with extensive political network strategic planning and routes to European leaders, not to mention advice on pro-Trump video campaign materials. In return, Bannon offered Epstein something irresistible: to build a right-wing MAGA coalition that would stave off the global movement against sexual harassment for more than a decade. Earlier this year, Steve Bannon repeatedly claimed that the convicted child sex offender was operating as part of a deep state anti-Trump conspiracy. In that arc of looking at how the deep state has tried to stop Trump and the MAGA movement, you can easily fit in. Epstein is a key that picks the lock on so many things, he said, not just individuals, but also institutions, intelligence institutions, foreign governments, and who was working with him on our intelligence apparatus and in our government. So even there, it feels like I don't understand, because the lines were blurred, because Epstein continued to fund and make introductions to Bannon to foreign state leaders and to supply him with money. But Bannon was like leading the charge basically against
building MAGA up to be against Epstein, which is the weird part of this.
It's really strange. I don't understand it. But
I think it comes down to the mutual assured destruction philosophy of like they all knew this is a political football to play with, but nobody's going to run the ball into the end zone, because if you do that, then the gig is up. Like, we know what happened,
Yeah, I think so too, but I also don't really understand what was in it for Epstein, except that his friendship with Trump continued. So when Trump says, I haven't talked to him in decades, there's an email from 2017 back and forth between Epstein and this Faith Cates, who was the owner of another, modeling agency, where he said, I'm down here in Florida for Thanksgiving. Who's with you? She asked who's with him, and Trump is one of the people. And it was like in a list of other people. Like I guess he obviously, but like that continued, and the friendship with Bannon definitely continued between Epstein and Bannon.
I mean, if I had to guess, at the end of it, no matter how much he was being used, there was probably a pardon at the end of Trump 2024, right?
Right.
I mean, at the end of this presidency, a pardon might have been there for him, like it's going to be for Ghislaine.
Right. I love that you mispronounce her name every time. It cracks me up.
Ghislaine.
Bubba. Yeah. So Epstein arranged access to world leaders for Bannon, proposing opaque crypto-based funding structures, drafting contact lists for the MAGA architect, and even offering the president of the UN General Assembly to guide Bannon's EU project. In return, Bannon fed Epstein ideological strategy, media plans, and internal Republican thinking, at one point spelling out a right-wing coalition to stave off Time's Up for the next decade plus. The correspondence also shows Epstein helping to shape Bannon's public image. In one message, he tells journalist Michael Wolff that if Republicans held the House in 2018, Steve would deserve most of the credit, while Bannon privately reassured Epstein during renewed scrutiny that there is a crazed jihad against you. In one of the crazier correspondences, Jeffrey Epstein advised Steve Bannon that the lawyers representing Brett Kavanaugh in his confirmation hearing should accuse Christine Blasey Ford of being on medications that cause false memories or memory loss. And this is the email. It says, I delayed my trip a day, so I'm still around. Tell Burke they should make sure they ask Ford about her medications, what type and for how long. My guess is that Katz won't let her answer.
Yeah, it's dark how these utter scumbags are shaping our policy in this country. And the Supreme Court was altered by Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And I think about this, it makes me wonder Bannon's role in all this, right? I mean, there's another guy that, like, he sometimes dabbles outside of Trump world. He had that window where it seemed like he might be going against Trump as well. And these are the plays of people fighting for power who negotiate something. You know, I feel like he was going to go to war with Trump world a little bit at one point.
Mhm.
And how did he have the leverage to do that? How, you know, what was, you know, so if you're him and you act like you're leaving Trump world, you get rewarded for coming back to Trump world. And you've got the dirt is what it means to me. And this connection with Epstein tells me Bannon has a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
Because why is he so powerful anyway? Why does anybody know who the fuck he is? He's a strategist who manipulates people. But how did he get to that role? He's not particularly intelligent. He's not.
Well, clearly Epstein was pushing him in certain circles.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's just mutually assured destruction. Okay. Then just to whiplash to the Democratic side, one of the representatives from the Virgin Islands, which if you are all here on Thursday, we were talking about how the ex-first lady of the Virgin Islands was helping secure major tax incentives, like hundreds of millions of dollars for Jeffrey Epstein to build his island resort there. Also helping get his girls visas, work visas, helping get them ESL classes, English as a second language classes. Then in, God, what year was this? I don't know what we're going to see, but Stacey Plaskett is being fed lines in her ear by Jeffrey Epstein, or he's texting her what she should ask at this congressional hearing.
Amazing.
Newly released documents reviewed by the Washington Post appear to indicate that during a 2019 hearing, sorry, it went too fast. Hope you read it.
This was when Barack Obama was president of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out the president's campaign or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump Organization?
They
and
are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Uh-huh. You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
So this was the 2019 congressional hearing of Michael Cohen, who had been counsel for Trump. And this was when, you know, they were trying to prove Russiagate, or he was owned by Putin or whatever. So what's his name is Epstein is texting her at the beginning, are you chewing? He doesn't like that she's
Like
chewing
bad
gum.
optics.
Yeah. Then he says Rona, and she says, ask about Rona, and she says, is that an acronym? Hurry up, I'm next. I mean, and then he tells her good job when she brings it up. He's texting her while he's watching it. She is getting her questioning from a twice convicted sexual assaulter, rapist, pedophile.
Yeah. Can we make sure she has no career ever again in politics? I mean, at a minimum here.
I mean,
like, what in the fuck is happening? Like, this is like some, you know, rom-com with an earpiece, you know, getting, except the earpiece is a fucking pedophile, rapist, piece of shit, and he's your go-to guy.
I mean, but he was everybody's go-to guy. Obama's asking him, or asking whatever, Dershowitz, but like kind of same diff, about Israel. You've got Noam Chomsky writing him letters of recommendation and about how brilliant he is and what a great conversationalist. You've got Woody Allen hanging out with, like, everybody is going to this disgusting man because that was just the cult of power. Like, that's where the circle was going and everybody was part of it. So why would you say no? You've got, and then we'll get to Larry Summers, like the head of Harvard. I mean, everybody was in his orbit.
Yeah, and it's going to take a long time before we fully understand this stuff, because like, what team is he working on? You know, when he's talking to her, what team is she working on? I mean, this is to allegedly have Cohen help expose dirt, or is it protecting? I don't even understand at this point. Like,
that's what I mean. It's all so confusing. Like, when we start digging in and trying to make sense of it, it's like, wait, but I thought you were working with Bannon at this point to bring, like, to help Trump in the midterms. And, you know, it's just like, it's all so convoluted, because the truth is, and this we know, because it's what we all talk about all the time, there is no ideology. They are all working for the same people. It could not be more clear than it is today, than it was, you know, every time more of these are released. Like, they have no integrity. They don't have convictions. They certainly don't have courage of their convictions. It's all about money and power. That's it.
I think what Zaina said is probably where I'm at too, because I think you shape the discussion if you're Epstein, because Epstein knows where the dirt is, obviously.
Right.
But it's also like, if you stay on this lane, it's not going to expose this other stuff. So just talk to her about Rona and this other little lane, and that way you get some points for your thing, and my people are protected, that I'm still protecting.
Right.
But I don't even know. This is just speculative. Like, who knows?
It is just, it is all so disgusting. And I just want to whip through the Larry Summers stuff, because this is just as a reminder, the president of Harvard, who first, like, normally I don't know who the presidents of universities are. But several years ago, he got in trouble because I think as president, he said something about black brains not being as big as white brains, and that's just science. You know, there's a lot of eugenics and racism and phrenology and all of these people. Like, they are clearly, right? They don't care. Like, the strong will survive. They don't care what they're doing to the climate. They don't care that we have, like, everybody's getting COVID. They don't care about a genocide. Like, they have their bunkers, and they think that they are the masters of the universe. I mean, that's just it. That's who they are. So here he is in 2017, again, the president of Harvard, he is talking to Epstein and says, like, you know, he's dating.
Well, can I just say this? The fact that the president of Harvard emailed Jeffrey Epstein that's enough. I don't even know anything else other than he should not be running any institution ever again.
It's insane.
But let's go on. Let's go on.
It is insane. Okay. So here he says, SoftBank deputy guy I liked and seemed aware and honest. Ray son, I don't know what any of that means. Lots of slathering to Saudis. I yipped about inclusion. He means it when he talks about inclusion. You can tell because he says, I yipped about it. I observed that half the IQ in the world was possessed by women, without mentioning they are more than 51% of population. So he's very clever there. You see what he did? Oh, there are more of them, but they only have half. So that's his like dig about how stupid women are. He has to get that in with the guy who is setting him up with young women, young girls. Mnuchin plumbs new depths. War seems more like
Mnuchin.
Yeah, Steve Mnuchin.
Steve Mnuchin we're talking about here.
Yep, because this is in Trump's first regime. This is in 2017.
Right.
War seems more likely than I used to think. DJT is world's luckiest guy in terms of opposition, economy, etc. Still think his world will collapse. I'm trying to figure why American elite think if you murder your baby by beating and abandonment, it must be irrelevant to your admission to Harvard, but hit on a few women 10 years ago and can't work at a network or think tank. Do not repeat this insight. You always want to write that down in an email. Coming, by the way, was this like coming from a Gmail or, well, I don't know what the email was from, but it's going to a Gmail account. I mean, it's not like encrypted or whatever. So he's talking about somebody who had been admitted to Harvard. It was then discovered that 20 years before she, let's see, this was Summers referenced the school's rescinded 2017 admission of Michelle Jones, who spent more than 2 decades in prison for killing her 4-year-old son. And he's upset that she got in, but then when they discovered it, it was rescinded. She was no longer accepted because he hit on a few women, or Epstein or any of these rapists. He feels slighted that they're not getting those primo jobs at think tanks.
Yeah, well, it's classic scapegoat bullshit. Like, oh, a black person did something terrible that was caught by the normal system, so let Trump to be a little rapist.
Yeah, or Summers, who, okay, so this is November 30th of 2018, and he's talking about one of the young girls. He is not sure how she views him anymore, and it's in response to Jeffrey Epstein saying, hey, I'm a pretty good wingman. No, anymore. How great Larry is comments. And I would have had to, anymore. How great Larry is comments. And I would have had to barf. Great fun. So Jeffrey Epstein is patting himself on the back for being Summers' wingman. But then Summers replies, thought if you didn't know that we had a couple, she gave it away with familiarity and barbed comments. Think for now, I'm going nowhere with her except economics mentor. Oh, interesting. Does that mean she was his student? I think I'm right now in the scene very warmly in rear view mirror category. She did not want to have a drink because she was tired. I left the hotel lobby somewhat abruptly. When I'm reflective, I think I'm dodging a bullet, whatever. He's 66 years old at this time, and he's writing to Larry Summers about his problems with one of his students whom he was hoping to have an affair with. Just a couple days earlier, on November 25th, Larry Summers' wife, who was the Powell M. Cabot Professor of American Literature at Harvard, writes to Jeffrey Epstein to tell him that she would recommend reading Lolita or My Antonia by Cather next, your time you're on a long plane trip. The prose is gorgeous, and the book has, come to think of it, similar themes to Lolita in that it's about a man whose whole life is stamped forever by his impression of a young girl. So they all knew he's married. She's married to the creep he's trying to set up with students. And she's recommending Lolita to a pedophile rapist.
And Summers drops the ball with somebody that Epstein tried to hook him up with, who's a kiddo or student or young,
Right.
whatever, 66. These people are just awful. They're awful. And this guy runs Harvard. You know what? This is why all these institutions are, I don't want to connect it back to Israel entirely, but like, you know, when you have these academic institutions we think are the bastions of free speech and, you know, thought creation for young people, and they're shutting down any discussion about Israel, you can connect it to some more of this stuff. They probably have dirt on this guy.
Larry Summers.
The president of Harvard.
Yeah. So yeah, Larry Summers. I mean, he's no longer the president of Summers, but okay, here's the thing. He left in disgrace. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, not necessarily him, but they did then. And so continue the dirt that they have on all these guys. And you can't think, well, the president of Harvard is going to be smarter than that. He's not going to be beholden to another country because he got tied up in some sort of Mossad honey trap. Well, no, they all do.
They all do.
They all do. And they're all guilty.
So the last two bits on Larry Summers is this was November 10th. So this was, 6 days ago. I found this article by a former Harvard Crimson president very disturbing. The moral bankruptcy that led the Crimson to endorse BDS some time ago without subsequent withdrawal appears to have spread to the news page. Basically, he wants the lead editor of the Harvard Crimson, the student newspaper, to lose his job because of BDS against a genocidal apartheid state. He accuses that of moral bankruptcy a week ago. We know that he was involved with Epstein for at least a decade from all these emails. Oh, and by the way, he had been tapped to lead Project 2029 for the Democrats for the Center for American Progress. There you go. Oh, you're muted.
I thought Democrats were going to save us from all this, so I'm shocked. I am shocked.
Shocker. Neera Tanden loves the Epstein ring of influential people. I mean, it's just like it never ends. So he's pushing Bannon. He's dealing with Larry Summers. It is just a web of disgusting, powerful.
Yeah.
Maniacs.
Look, if we look into any single tech bro, they're all going to be connected to this.
Yeah.
Crypto's connected to it.
Yeah.
Like all of it. Anyone getting rich, every organization, every major institution that's a global company, whatever, they're all going to be connected to this guy, because that's where the power was. Which is why they've thought forever they could hide all this shit. But we'll see what comes of this. That's my $1 million question.
Just to be lectured by Larry Summers about moral depravity, or Neera Tanden about how Bernie Sanders is sexist. Do you think he's more sexist than Larry Summers, who's talking about women's IQs being lower than men and trying to fuck his students when he's not trying to fuck children? Like, I wish for all of them what they wish for Palestinians.
Yeah. I mean, look, if we had a fourth estate right now that wasn't tied into all these people and beholden to the same interests, we would all be rioting and flipping this whole place upside down just from these emails. And then this is just like a little sliver of the shit that they have. Like, but they're not going to cover this. They're going to barely cover it, but they're not going to connect it. You think CNN's going to talk about Larry Summers?
No, never.
Never.
I mean, look at how Dana Bash was when, a connection to Mossad, which has been firmly established at this point between Mossad and Epstein. She acts as if that is, some blood libel. Yeah,
I'm surprised she didn't ask if he condemned Hamas to just dodge the questions, you know, like.
Ugh, just disgusting. All right. I mean, you know, we said this last time, like, you know, that's it. We never need to talk about Epstein again. But, you know, the thing that is going to be like just whatever the opposite of icing on the cake is, like more, you know, shit sandwich, is nobody's going to go down for this. All of these people will continue to have jobs, make millions of dollars at think tanks, be lauded. They will get philanthropic prizes. They will have buildings named after them. They will advise genocidal maniacs on how best to exterminate whole populations. They will, you know, like, nobody's really going to pay the price for this.
And that's where I'm stuck a little bit, because I think some people are going to, but it's going to be fall guy situation. How do you how do you pick the 10 people that can go down on this, that will placate the public somehow? You know, that's what we're looking at. But I mean, when the institutions are all involved in Epstein and they all have dirt on each other, you know, they're mapping out like the 5 to 10 people we can go to that we don't think have dirt on the other people,
Right.
that somehow, you know, that's where we're at, I think. But
yeah, there will be a few fall guys.
well, how do they get away from the story? That's the question. Without the entire country going, what the fuck? End capitalism. But they, you know, they can't have that. So we're gonna have to. They're gonna script some sort of off ramp.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think, because until there is either video proof or some testimonial, or you know, this is the other thing, they're just gonna distract us with assassinating people in the Caribbean Sea and starting war with Venezuela, or you know, more horrors in the Middle East. I mean, like it.
Look, the fall guy, the 5 to 10 people might include Trump, which is not insignificant.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. It really might at this point, because the people that want to survive, they may need to hang Trump to survive, because they're bigger than him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, I think that's part of the reason he's so scared. The truth is, like, yes, I'm sure. I mean, he's done hideous things, but like, I think very little would be surprising or would like humiliate him. Sadly, like supporting a genocide, the, you know, grab him by the pussy, the like having sex with 13-year-old girls, raping them, wasn't enough. If that were true, that he gave a blowjob to some man, that might be like enough to make him, to humiliate him because of his warped, you know, like that would be the thing that, you know, a bridge too far for that crowd.
I think the sticky part is that, well, he's on the second term of his presidency, right?
Right.
So that allows you access to dirt galore. So like, if you do try to hang him out, like, you know, it's war. And you don't even know the dirt that he has. That's the tricky bit. I don't know. So who knows? But I think they need someone big to pin it on. And there's no Trump presidency part 3. So it could be him at the end of this. I just don't know.
I mean, I think that's the most likely. It will be Trump, because they hate him anyway, because he's pulled the mask off. Like there was a nice facade, a sheen, you know, you could say like, oh, I miss the days of George W. Bush. I don't. I think he was even, I mean, before the genocide, I would have said he was the worst president. But I think that just the way I think that Israel is going to try to recraft a narrative and blame everything on Netanyahu and the Likud government, the United States is going to blame all of the devastation and horrors of capitalism on just Trump.
Yeah, and that could be the off ramp to this story without anything ever happening to Trump, right? So that's how they all win, kind of. Like Trump, he's already uncouth, whatever. People can believe they're conspiracies, and who cares? He's just he has the best MRIs ever. That's the end of it. Like none of it really matters to a guy who just can walk around in the world saying what he says. So who cares? He's still just as rich as he's way more rich than he was before all this stuff. So he's going to keep getting richer and richer off this, even if he's the fall guy. Right. And as long as he doesn't end up in jail, which, the Democrats are going to say, oh, we can't put him in jail. It's bad. It's a bad look.
Respect the norms. Yeah. Got to move forward, not back. You don't want to jail your political enemies. We don't want to sink to that level. All right. Let's show something a little fun before we go back to our Democrats for a second.
All right. Always support that.
I'm sorry. I'm putting the thingy up. Okay. 1 second. I said it like it was going to happen from
poof. AI. Come on, AI assistant.
Yeah, baby.
Thank God. Okay. I am going to do that, but
that is more fun.
1 second. Close. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my God. All right. I'm doing more.
If you hit a trifecta, we'll just pick one. Let's spin it one more time.
All right, one more time.
See.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Cats or orange cats? What do you think? It's cats either way.
Either way. Let's
orange cats.
Orange.
Orange
yeah.
cat.
Oh, look
Oops,
at that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I just decided for us.
This motherfucker just ate my pizza.
Oh, and I fucking knew it!
Nope. 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 No! No!
Sure. Chucky. Sure. Damn it, Chucky!
Stop it. Stop it. No, I hate that.
Stop!
Oh my God.
Raggy! Don't. Hey, found it.
Kyle. Stop. Oh. Kyle! Fucking Kyle! Don't do that.
Hey, don't eat that. There it is. Fuck!
Ouch! Ah! Every day. Ow!
The door is open. You don't have to do this. It's open.
Frank, you can't do this.
The rent's due. Do you have your portion this month or no?
You bastard.
Hey! Hey! Are you happy now?
Skeeter?
Scaring me. Stop. Please.
Stop, you're scaring me. You're scaring me.
We have such different styles of parenting, or I have such different styles of parenting from so many people. Also,
fucking Kyle.
Fucking Kyle. Cats go in the kitty litter. They roll around in the kitty litter. I don't understand people who let their cats walk on their tables or countertops. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't give a shit. So me.
Also, I don't understand saying no and then not doing a thing about it. Like I see that with parents so much with their kids. They're like, don't do it. Like, no, you got to nip it at the bud before it gets to that point. Oh my God. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Gross. But very funny. It is very funny. Yeah, they're acting. That's very funny. And thank you. Time is flying. It actually kind of really is. I can't believe how late it is. Okay, let us move to wait, sorry. If you want to be outraged in a whole other way, Michelle Obama, should we just show her stupid
Yes.
comment?
God.
She makes me, yeah. All right.
I have thoughts. Let's go.
Don't even look at me about running because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it.
I love being lectured. Sorry, go ahead.
We have never seen that. This is bullshit. As Justin said, I was ready for Jill Stein.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for leftists. Francesca Albanese is one of my favorite people on earth. Part of the Bernie movement was everybody loving
Nina Turner. I feel a little bit like we're doing like some of our best friends are women. No, but like obviously.
But shut up.
Yeah.
We don't care. Like Hillary lost on her shit. Kamala lost on her shit. The Democratic Party thinks these identity issues can shield them, and hey, we can be more right-wing, more corporate owned because of this, so let's run that way. How about you run them as a leftist and
see what happens?
Yep. Right.
And then you're told like, oh, you just want ponies, while you know the woman who stayed married to the child rapist is telling us that Medicare for all is free ponies and magical thinking. Please lecture us. Has Michelle Obama said anything about the ICE raids, about the genocide, about the fact that that her husband with a supermajority didn't increase the living wage? She's just going to talk about female tokens at in the highest level of office. How about you care about the millions of women who are being hurt by the policies of your husband's party?
Yeah, I don't have any. Dude, if you ran a lesbian female, let's just make her fat. Let's make her missing a leg. I don't give a fuck. Like it's policy.
It's
period.
Policy. Yeah.
I would love for every non-inclusive group to be represented, and I would vote for that fucking person. And I think most of us would. You know, it's not that. We want that to advance. We want to see a black lesbian president. I mean,
what they never have an answer for, although it was funny because Jon Stewart called Kamala out on this, where she was like, I just didn't have enough time. And he was like, no, I think you had too much time, because when you first started, you were like running away with it. And then the more you talked and you didn't have any policies and you said you were going to fire Lena Khan and then you brought Liz Cheney, that's when you went down. You had too much time. 107 days is too much for you, ma'am. We did, like, people wanted you. She could have won. Had nothing to do with being a female.
Let's look at the chart of her popularity. Not talking. I mean, so the gig, she can't run again. She can't. You have to pretend that Gavin Newsom represents the left. You know, Slick Rick, fucking Wall Street guy. We're going to pretend he's our left now. That's, you know, with the Democratic Party, not us. We don't.
Yeah.
California doesn't like that guy. California is in such a bad place that we're now looking at a GOP governor next, probably. Like that's how successful Gavin Newsom's career was in California. We're going to get in the leftist bastion of the world, California, we're going to have a GOP president next. I mean, governor next.
I mean, whether the person has a D in front of his name or an R, it might as well be what I consider a Republican, right? I mean, the Democratic Party is all what I have always considered, like, it doesn't even matter. But yes, if all else is equal, but it never is. I don't know, whatever. I the stupidity of this. And then she says, you know, oh, when they go low, we go high. And I just always love running this clip because she's
Her
such a
trashing-
liar. And just the way she was speaking in that, she didn't sound like she was going high. Don't you even talk, like, why would you be president? What policies do you stand for? What's your platform? The fact that anybody is looking at her saying she should run is an indictment of the system that she supports. Run? Why? Because you have a good Spotify list and a Netflix movie coming out or whatever. Like, what makes you qualified? Why would Kamala ever dare to say out loud that she is the most qualified person ever to have run for president? The audacity.
Well, this is where the racism isn't really a thing, because at least Michelle Obama at least is an intelligent Black woman who presents herself and speaks well.
Yeah.
And she could have slid in without a platform.
Yeah.
You couldn't even give us Michelle Obama. You gave us Kamala Harris is the point. Like you milked your lack of policy with somebody who doesn't even do that speaking part to cover up your lack of policy part.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean that, I mean, obviously Trump isn't qualified at all. He is a reality TV show racist scumbag, racist rapist like he's disgusting. He wasn't qualified to be president. But also it's apples to oranges. Like, you have to understand the time you're in. And Hillary Clinton did not understand what the nation wanted. And that is Barack Obama's legacy, that he handed the reins of power over to Donald Trump. That's, so they have a lot to apologize for. And running off with Richard Branson and creating your, hype Spotify lists is not going to cut it when people are, dying on the street because they're homeless. It's just disgusting.
Well, look, the Obamas don't want politics in their life anymore.
Yeah.
That's what's been so clear from what they've done. So, like, all this nagging her to run, they're rich enough.
Yeah.
That's where they're at right now. They're rich. We're rich enough. We don't need to run and make another, 200 million. We're good. We can do that with book deals, and we're now in producing movies for Netflix, and we got this. Why would I run?
And I mean, like, the monstrosity of his presidential library in Chicago that cut down a whole park, like, communities were protesting against that. And it's this big windowless fortress. I mean,
yeah. And why aren't they? Look, we're talking Chicago. Chicago's getting invaded by ICE right now. Where are the Obamas on Chicago and ICE? They just did a review of, in Chicago, 600 people detained by ICE.
Mm-hmm.
Only 16 had criminal records, and they didn't break down how many of those were violent records.
Right.
So 16 had criminal. 16
like
out
a
of
broken
600,
headlight. Yeah.
Right. Had criminal records. Right. So, where are the Obamas on that? You could be out saying, you could be creating the war between the Democratic Party and the Republicans in your own fucking city.
Yep.
And you're not even doing that. So
You
shut
could be
up.
apologizing for increasing the budget of ICE by 3,600%. Thanks, Obama. Right? Like, they are despicable. And the post-presidency is just further cements the legacy. It's really gross.
And this was one of the clearest moments of like,
There's
no different. There is no difference between either party. The fake drinking water bullshit
in Flint, Michigan, that still doesn't have clean water. That was disgusting. Sending federal troops in to abuse the protesters at the Dakota Access Pipeline, breaking up Occupy Wall Street, militarizing the police, starting a war with 5 more countries after you ran on ending the 2 that George W. had gotten us into. I mean, not a great legacy for Obama.
The Obamas, they just proved that, like, this alleged from the street and because you're Black kind of thing doesn't mean you're connected to the street suffering at all. It doesn't mean you're going to fight for those issues at all, which Obama did not do. And obviously his first job was appointing the bank's cabinet picks.
Yep. Citibank.
So,
and disbanding Obama for America, which was like a grassroots campaign for him, where we thought this is the wave of the future. This is how politics is going to be done, which is part of the reason so many
Bernie,
people leave the party because
but that did lead to the burning of like, oh, this is the real. We're doing what Obama was going to do, but we're going to actually do it. And the people did rise up, and that is something that we're still seeing now.
Yes.
But we don't have an avenue to direct that. We don't have a leader to direct that now is the thing. We definitely didn't under Obama. People thought Obama would be the guy doing it. And then Bernie did the same thing. He's not really leading it anymore either. So that's why we drink.
That is why we drink. Okay. I am sorry. I just wanted to see if there's anything I had missed here. Okay. So, geez, I don't know. Do we show Van Jones's big thought about how we move forward for equity between the races? He's such a tool. I don't even know if we want to look at him.
Well, you brought it up, so we have to.
You got to watch it.
Yeah, because I enjoyed listening to his bullshit. Because it's right in line with what we're talking about.
Like, I think that what happens, it's careerism and money, right? Like, I just don't understand that lack of integrity. Like, I don't understand caring about people or pretending you did early on.
He did. And well, he took his activist cred and was sort of
fired for it by Obama.
Right. But he was like the TV leftist with activist cred. So he was critical of our system and government enough to get this position. And now he's going to maintain this position. And now he's going to take money from Israel to be to form a group that fights anti-Semitism, because that's the real thing right now in America is this anti-Semitism. But here he is on AI. It's wonderful. I love this.
99.9% of black people don't know anything about AI. 99.9% of black people know nothing about AI. I say that's true. And 99.9% of white folk don't know anything about AI either. That's called equality, okay? That's called equality. This is the first time in my life I have ever experienced actual equality. We all equally ignorant about the same thing. Now, to go to the brother's point, the reason I was about to jump out my chair and hug this brother is because who are the most innovative people in the history of the world? That's right. We are the most innovative, the most creative. We have done so much for so long with so little, we can damn near do anything with nothing. And now you're going to give us the most powerful creative tools ever and expect us to lose? No.
So this is his, woke version of why AI, which is destroying our environment, it is, at its best will force mass unemployment and homelessness and poverty, but also could possibly be another huge financial bubble, which is what it looks like. It's empowering some of the worst people in the world, and he's making it seem like that's a great opportunity for Black people in this country.
And what's in the explanation of how, like, somebody should question him, okay, how does this AI translate to jobs for Black people? Yes, Black people are just as smart as white people. White people, like, intelligence is not a race thing at all, right? So we get that, right? Okay, good job, Van Jones. We understand that. But regardless of race, it's only a handful of people who are going to benefit from AI technology. And how does that get to the masses? And there are more Black people economically suffering than ever. So how does that uplift more Black people, like an equal amount even? It's going to be more disparate. It's going to harm them more because they're economically already harmed. Like, okay, just to bring in tropes. Okay, yeah, creative Black people are going to be rappers and shit. Like, they're going to use AI and make better songs. They're going to form a business that puts more people out of work because they're using the AI. Is that the smart Black entrepreneur role of AI, is hiring less people? Like, it's the same crime, whether you're white or Black. This is not good for anyone. And it's going to harm Black community more because economically they're more suppressed. This is basic fucking math, and
makes him
and nobody
even
questions
more
him on the
despicable.
economy of this stuff.
Yeah.
Though. It's just like you're the white liberal, but you're Van Jones.
Doing the bidding of the worst people in the world, trying to give a racial equality tint to their depraved new social contract that they say we're all going to have. It's of course it's not going to help people who are already like nobody who is already not being pushed by the system. I mean, our system is basically now we have no middle class. Everybody is losing out on the one, like the thing that, you know,
Right.
always say why white people have more inherited wealth than black people is I don't have a home. White people in this country had home ownership, which gives you equity. And because of redlining and racist systemic structures, fewer black people own homes. Now, nobody can own a home. I think the median age of home buying is like close to 50 now. Most people can't own a home. Oh, maybe we'll have a 50-year mortgage, but like none of AI is even intended. They're not even pretending it's going to help the masses. Honestly, they haven't figured that out. They got to think about that later.
Well, they're not pretending, but Van Jones fucking is. You know, that's the point. Van Jones is pretending.
Yeah,
this is a way to lift yourself up from your bootstraps. You know, because we're just as smart as anyone. So if anyone can use AI to lift themselves up from the bootstraps, it's us. So we got this.
Such a specious argument too, because then as soon as you start to push back, it's like, what are you saying? Black people aren't as smart. You're like, no, you sellout. He's just such a huge sellout is what he is. He's a disgusting shill for the worst people in the world.
Yeah. And this 50-year mortgage thing.
Oh my God.
It's so ludicrous because like we got a 50-year mortgage just in time when owning a home is more expensive than rent. Like it didn't used to be that. That was the benefit, at least. One of them is that owning a home saved you on rent and you got equity. But now it's more expensive, but your 50-year lease doesn't give you equity. You don't have any equity. You've only paid off 1/1000th of your home.
Yeah.
So like that's not equity. So you're not even going to pass it off. By the time you die, you're going to be like, my medical bills, you get the house, but I'm going to live 5 more years with my cancer.
It's really bleak. And the fact that he uses his platform like that is repulsive.
Disgusting.
Justin, thank
Hate
you.
him so much.
You are working hard to get eyes on us. We appreciate it. Thank you. And cheers. I just want to reflect the sun. Thank you. Always gifting memberships. That is so generous. And that means a ton to us. So thank you. Thank you. And
Justin, reflect the sun.
Jimmy. Use. Thank you. That comes in handy. We need it. Thank you. I mean, you know what the hardest thing? Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought too. Like I think I said 50. Okay, you're right. I was about to say 60. I was like, that's crazy, but that's what I thought I'd heard. So I toned it down a decade, which isn't fair. Maybe that's like my own version of like AI could help us all get homes. Yeah.
No one has made any argument for how AI is going to help the middle class or anyone. Like the argument doesn't exist.
No.
Tell me what it is. Tell me how AI is doing anything for the middle class. Like if we had a Democratic Party that was actually cared about working people, you would be fighting AI. You would be implementing policies so AI can't replace your jobs. You would be putting in some like
guardrails,
minimum. You would say, okay, now that AI is here, we need a 30-hour work week for the same salary, right?
Which I have to say, Bernie. I mean, listen. I know we all have things, and thank you, Kiko. That's Kiko, just the best. That's all you ever need to say.
You don't know her like I do, Kiko. She's not always right. That's just bullshit. Pandering.
But yeah, I mean,
I love Kiko.
Bernie was saying we should have a 30-hour work week for the same pay. Now, of course, the pay isn't enough now anyway, but like he can't be the only person just throwing these things out and nobody else is coming up with anything, and he doesn't fight for them or engage the activists who he disbanded after he, lost 2 times in a row. So like, but yeah, we need regulations on this, and nobody is saying that.
JD's here to tell us who to blame for the cost of homes. So here's JD.
Okay, wait. Cheers.
Young people
Cheers.
Whoops.
Cheers,
M.
and
Sparks,
Spark
cheers.
for the super
Sorry.
sticker. Love
Absolutely.
you guys. Thank you. All right.
A lot of young people are saying housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right go to American citizens. And at the same time, we weren't building enough new houses to begin with, even for the population that we had.
God, they're just going to keep beating.
Do you know how absurd that argument is? Like, your housing costs are too expensive because of all the illegal immigrants buying homes. They're buying homes. Are you kidding me? They're not buying homes. You fucking idiot.
After they're eating your pets, they're buying homes. I mean, that was a Peter Thiel made man. I mean, that's the other thing, is that they are all tied all together. Like, it's just crazy. So Peter Thiel funds the rise of JD Vance, and Epstein funded Thiel, and they are all just evil. I mean, they're just evil. I don't even know what else to say. That doesn't make sense to anybody. I cannot imagine that even the most diehard MAGA America First supporters can follow whatever pretzel logic that is, that illegal immigrants are who we see are just being kidnapped off the streets from places where they're working their asses off are the reason that we can't afford homes. I don't think anybody thinks that's true. Nobody. So who's he talking to? Just his donors. Nobody believes that.
The only people believing that are the racists left that are just hanging on to racism, right? Because
you meant the racist small L, like the racists who are left, not the racist left.
Oh, not the racist left. Yeah, I mean the racists that are left who still cling to things these people say, because I'm working class. I'm an electrician, I every day I'm around Hispanic workers, because not every day, but a lot, because we're working in houses together and things that
right.
Nobody thinks that these people are living in fancy homes that I can't afford because of their jobs, digging the ditch that I didn't want to dig, to do my electrical work. Like, fuck off. Like, nobody's buying that. And nobody's buying that AI is going to provide a lot of jobs. And they always come out and say, oh, it's electricians, plumbers, and I don't know, something else. But like, those are construction jobs in the first fucking month of the project, maybe 2 months, and then those jobs are gone.
Yeah.
So that argument, these are jobs, they're not jobs. AI is crap. Everyone's suffering from AI. It's replacing jobs to have fucking the dumbest brain on earth run things and come up with creative ideas. And it's not, we're losing our humanity. We're losing our jobs. Housing prices are because of billionaires, not immigrants buying all of our homes. They came here and stole our jobs. Now they're buying all the homes. Like, are you kidding? Nope. Who is buying that argument? Like you said.
I mean, we all know who's buying the homes. I think honestly, I don't think any of this is working. I don't think any of this is working on anybody. I really don't.
Very few.
But just to get up there and speak that way about, like, he knows he's lying. He knows he's lying.
Yes.
So what he's doing is putting a target on immigrants in this country who are already having some of the bleakest experiences of any of us, because they already had to leave one place that probably is so horrible because of, our own imperialism and stealing all of their resources. I don't know. It's like such a lack of humanity and compassion. And these are the people who are in power. It's just the system has got to be smashed to the ground. I mean, this is not something you can nip and tuck at. And so whoever the next person is, if they don't speak that way, the person on the right will do a smash the system kind of platform, but it will be even more devastating for people the way Trump did. He came in, he saw the pain, and Kamala and Biden were pretending everything's fine. And just don't believe your lying checkbook and the fact that you can't put food on the table. Bidenomics is awesome. Trump, who's a liar, but at least recognize that people were in need. And, Democrats just will not do that until we get money out of politics.
And the important part is recognizing the villain here, to me, which is it's not either party, but for in 1 year we had a 20% increase in home foreclosures in the last year. Right. That is a country in massive economic failure.
Yep.
20% increase. We can't pretend that like maybe a recession is going to hit. Like that's already, look, the people that own homes are already above, the working class for the most, like they're already, these are if they're losing 20% increase in 1 year is a sharp warning signal to everybody that we're fucked. Yeah. Right. And so anyone whose prescription to solve this problem is just like fringe shit.
Yeah.
It's a bigger economic problem than just some sort of fringe policy. And they come out and blame the immigrants because what else you got? Like you're not doing anything to fix our economy. So you got to just blame people for shit.
Well, that's the other thing is, you have to have a villain. And the Democrats did not want to have a villain, but the villain is the people they all cavort, on Epstein's Island with. And I mean, what better example that the whole ruling class, wealthy elite are the most depraved. There's no poor people. Why wasn't Epstein friends with any poor people? Why isn't Bill Clinton friends with any working class people? Obama, do they hang out with Richard Branson, but not, they're like, these people are not of us. They are clearly, and they don't want to be, and they don't want to help us. So it is really important, I think. And I think, this is one of the things that Mamdani did well, even though he certainly isn't like, it's not like some big socialist platform that he ran on. It was just a couple little measures. But I do think that like, if he can implement those, then maybe you can keep going with them. The reason that Bernie's, Fight the Oligarchy tour was so popular is because people know who the villains are. We absolutely know. But it's just those, 538 members of Congress who have got to tax them out of existence. And then we start hearing, from all of the corporate media, oh, that sounds like class war. It's class war. It's been happening for millennia. Class war is what's happening right now to all of us.
Yeah. And this is where our whole purpose, I think, is the 538 are your villains.
Yep.
Like that's why, a good Dem on the left isn't going to solve this. You got 538 villains. This strategy of getting 10 that aren't in isn't going to change that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great that we got Mamdani and as a mayor, you can do a lot of things that you can't do within the party, but like 10 more senators aren't going to change this. They might slow the pain a
right.
0.5% or something, but that's not 20% increase in foreclosures in the last year. So you're going to wait and vote. You're going to wait to get 10 more good progressives in the Senate to vote for something that takes place and the bill they pass comes into effect in 2040 or something.
Yeah. For 4 medicines, we'll negotiate down over the course of 10 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, it's us and the streets and protests and rallies and demanding and Luigi.
I mean, yeah, they have to be scared. They have to be
Yes.
spared. And yes, and Citizen and Hey Pendejo, we saw your comment earlier.
Pendejo.
If you have any questions, anybody, DM us and let us know, and we'll try and get a few different. We're gonna have Matthew Ho and Anthony Aguilar on Thursday, so we'll have a show. We have a show Wednesday, but then Thursday they'll be on together. So if you guys have any questions, DM us what you might want us to ask, and we'll see what we can do, because that would be fun to have some input from you guys also.
Amen.
Yeah. And they're going to bail out. They're going to bail out all of the AI people. The tech billionaires are going to get bailed out. They have the money. That's never a problem. So I guess, that's the other thing is just like I won't condemn Hamas. Billionaires, all billionaires are bad. And, I think it is class war. We've been the victims of it, and now we are fighting back. So when you're fighting back, let's cast it like, why is their business strategy dependent on keeping us all in poverty? Like, that's the question, Dana Bash, not how are you going to pay for it? I don't know. Ask Howard Schultz. Ask them why we don't have healthcare.
Yeah, we're fighting over SNAP benefits when SNAP benefits are your business plan.
Yeah.
That's how these businesses exist, because they're SNAP, so people can go work for their shit wages for you, but there's at least a couple bucks for food. Like that's the system we have now, where like you can hold up our whole government with this like, oh, but $200 won't get the SNAP people. That the system is fucked. Be more angry. We're all angry. So
be angry. Definitely. Yes. Class solidarity. Absolutely. Share blankets like they did in the Holocaust. Oh my God. I don't even know, but all solidarity with the striking workers of union busting Starbucks. And we did not talk about Gaza at all, but it has been pouring, and they are not, Israel continues during this quote unquote ceasefire not to allow aid in, or the prefab trailers that are right outside the border that could actually offer some protection to these people who they're genociding. And now, after 2 years of horror, people's tents are just flooded, and, flooded water. First of all, it's cold and uncomfortable. Flooded water also has raw sewage. That's how disease spreads. So like, even like in New York, when there was flooding in the subway or in the streets and people are walking through it, it's like, Jesus Christ, like that diseases spread that way. But especially in Gaza, where the whole infrastructure has been destroyed by Israel, they are really suffering. So we tend to show a lot of videos from the Samir Project, but they are doing such wonderful work. So at the end of this video that we're going out on is the link if anybody is able to donate. Anything you want to say, Pat, before we sign off?
No, I don't want to start dropping conspiracy theories, but like I need to, because I just popped in my head. But what if Israel is letting this Epstein? What if they're behind leaking some of this shit? Because it's a massive distraction. Like, all that matters to them is conquest in Palestine, and nobody's talking about it because what's taking up all the oxygen? The Epstein shit. So I don't know.
Pat, I think you're right. Look, we showed that email from the Times of Israel from August, this past August, 6 weeks ago or something, where they very clearly are threatening Trump that he only bombed Iran for 1 week. And don't forget, we do have video on you. We can make you do what we want. That was written in the Times of Israel. Like, yeah, that could absolutely be what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't doubt it.
I hate it. I hate everything. But look, let's go out on these guys and their project is important. They've been doing amazing work. So
cheers, everybody. We love you guys. Keep punching up. We'll see you on Wednesday.
بدفيك يا ابو سمير. ربنا يحفظكم يا رب، ربنا يديكم طول العمر. الله يحفظكم.
والاحتياجات صعبة، والله بدنا حرمات، بدنا خيام، بدنا كلها يعني. والله جيت الحمد لله غير بالجلبية.
وضعنا يعني صعب وبدنا حرمات، وهي الشتاء داخل علينا، والصغار بموتوا من السقعة في الليل.
تفضل يا عم. بالعافية. بالعافية. بارك الله فيك. تفضل يا اختي. بالعافية ان شاء الله. تفضل يا بس. بالعافية ان شاء الله. تفضل يا.
اللي بيساعد ربنا.
بالعافية هي حرام.
اللي بيساعد ربنا يساعد.
امين يا رب. بالعافية. تسقع في الليل. هي حرام. يا عم بالعافية. بالعافية يا عم على راسي. بالعافية عليك يا رب. الله يسعدك. بالعافية. بالعافية.
والله شكرا جاب وقت يعني إن يدفينا، والله يدفيكم في الدنيا والآخرة. مشكور على اللي قدم لنا هذا.
بالعافية. بالعافية إن شاء الله. تفضل يا حاج. شكرا. بالعافية إن شاء الله. الله يبارك فيك.